Welcome to the Java MOOC Solutions, Java Programming First Part 5, Programming Exercise 515 named Archive. So the programming exercise asks us to implement a program that can be used to handle an archive. Several items can be added to it. When no more items are added, all the items in the archive are printed. So this exercise has been divided into two parts, with the first part saying us about adding and listing items, right? The program should read items from the user, so use the scanner method, right? And when all the items from the user have been read, the program prints the information of each item. For each item, its identifier and name should be read. If the identifier and name is empty, the program stops asking for input and prints all the item information. So it asks for identifier and name, and if the user inputs an empty identifier or an empty name, on both the conditions, our program should stop asking for input and print all the information, that is the identifier and name, in this format. So the printing format of the item should be identifier, a colon, a space, and a name. And there's a note: don't print the colon anywhere else in the output of the program. First of all, let's do this. Okay, we have already been provided with scanner. After that, what we are going to do is use the scanner method. Use the scanner object, right, of the scanner class, while true, as out, ask for identifier, right, and this empty will stop. I think that's what it says. Empty will stop. Okay, there's a space here. Let's give that space as well. Empty will stop, and then use scanner. Then let's define a string identifier equals to scanner dot next line, right? And then if our identifier dot is empty, right, what we are going to do is we're going to break the loop. Now let's create a class, right? Let's create a class, Java class, and let's name it archive. Okay, now this, let's hold two instance variables for the class archive. So we're gonna make a private string identifier, right, and also a private string name. Okay, after that, let's make the constructor public archive. This dot identifier is equals to identifier, and also this dot name is equals to name, and let's pass this both values, string identifier and string name. Okay, so we have the constructor as well. So let's go back into our main program and let's repeat this again. So let's ask for the name, and empty will stop. Okay, after that, you simply have to give another string, and let's call it name equals to scanner dot next line, and if condition name dot is empty, what we're going to do is we're going to break the while loop. Now after that, what we should do is let's create object of our archive class and pass in the values, right, and then store it in an array list. So let's define an array list, right, of type archive, and let's name it archive holder. Okay, archive holder equals to new array list. Now That's done. Right. Now after that we simply have to add this to our archive holder, right? So archive holder dot add, what we're going to add is new archive, and we have to pass identifier and a name. Okay, and I think that's done in our while statement. So in our print statement, what we have to print is, let's come out of the while loop and okay, for every item for archive, let's name it ARC HIV archive. Let's name it item. Okay, archive item in archive holder. What we are going to do is we're going to print in a format, right? So first of all we're going to print the identifier and a colon and the name. So let's go to our archive and let's get the method. So let's write the method public string get identifier, right, and return this dot identifier. Let's do that again for public get name with a different type of string, right? So we're gonna string return we're gonna return this dot name of type string. So let's add a string in here. That's done. So in here what we are going to do is we're simply gonna write item dot get identifier plus let's add a colon with a space, and let's add a method item dot get name. Let's say use functional operation. What does this mean? Ooh, there's a for each. Also we have archive holder dot for each. So for every item in archive holder we have an arrow operator as well. Okay, let's use this because we have not used that yet, so we could understand it better. So let's just run our main program and see if there are any errors or not. So identifier, let's give it ABCD, name first, ABCD, sorry, okay, yeah, ANCD, never mind, CDB, and let's name it third, and let's name it CDB, and fourth, and maybe, and let's so we have ABCD first, and then okay, that's done. So first part has been done. Now on the second part, you only print once per item. So it tells us to modify the program so that after entering the items, each item is printed at most once. Two items should be considered the same if their identifiers are the same. So if our identifiers are equal, then that item will be considered same. So if the user enters the same item multiple times, the print uses the item that was added first, right? It asks for an identifier. This identifier and this identifier is same, but while printing, the first one will be printed and the second one will be ignored. Right? And the hint is provided. It is probably smart to add each item to the list at most once. Compare the equality of the objects based on their identifiers. So What this basically says is it is probably smart to add each item, and each item is identified on the basis of their identifiers. So if our identifiers are equal, then we're not adding those items to the list, otherwise we're adding those items to the list. So for that we have to check the identifiers, and we can check that using the equals method. So first of all, let's define an equals method in archive section. So public boolean equals, right, and it takes the parameter of type object, and let's name it compared. Okay, since it's boolean, we have to return a boolean value. So if this is equals to compared, that is we're checking the memory location, then we are going to return true, right? If compared dot instance of archive and if it is not wait, no, I think I used dot, so I should not use this, and let's simply add archive. Okay, if compared is not of type archive, then obviously they won't be equal, so we are directly returning, let's return false. Okay, now the third thing we have to do is we have to define another and typecast our compared object, right? Archive, let's name this compared archive is equals to, let's typecast this under type archive, and we have our compared. Okay, now what we are going to do is we are simply gonna check if, and we are making the basis for our identifier. So if what we have to do is this dot identifier, which is of type string, so dot equals method to check them. So compared archive dot, we have the method get identifier, right? Get identifier, then we are returning true, otherwise we are returning false. So we have the equals method. Now in our main, what we have to do is, so before adding we have to check the condition if that is equals to our archive folder or not, right? So for that, what we can do is let's add a loop for the archive folder, and let's check for every items. Okay, so for that, first of all, if our archive folder dot is empty, we are simply gonna add archive folder dot add, we're simply gonna add new archive identifier comma name, right? Is we can simply, what we can do is we can, okay, let's create an object first. So archive, let's name it archive folder. Let's omit all the codes for now. Okay, let's comment this archive folder equals to new archive and simply create we have got the method parameters identifier and the name, right? Oh, sorry. Archive identifier, comma name. Oh, so there's a repetition of name. Let's simply name it archive. Let's name it item. Okay, sounds good. Okay, now if archive holder dot contains item, we are doing nothing. Else what we are doing is we are adding this to our archive folder. Archive holder dot add, we're adding item, right? Let's name it archive item. This would sound more reasonable, and use archive item as well. Yeah, okay, I think that's, with that done, I think we all good to go. So let's run this code. Let's see if we get the desired output or not. It's ABCD, and let's name it first, and give the same identifier ABCD, and let's name it second. Then BCD, and let's name it third, and give the same identifier, and let's name it fourth, and then empty. Okay, so only first and third are printed. I think we're good, and let's just submit this. We can see we have successfully passed all the tests on the server. Thank you all for watching. If there are any questions, you can ask me down in the comment section. I'll see you guys on the next programming exercises solution.